Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright is Attorney. Phoenix Wright is Attorney. I was about to say Trials and Tribulations. We are going to start the first trial of Rise from the Ashes. We're gonna get all nostalgic here with the court music of the first game. I'm a little sick, which is very annoying, so I apologize in advance. February 23rd at 9:34 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Hey, finally we get Bruce Goodman. Bruce Goodman, age 36, gender male. The victim and a good man. I'm gonna punch you, Phoenix. Detective in charge of homicide of just homicide? All of homicide? In Criminal Affairs Division 1. Yes. A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. The fuck is that logic? It's innocent until proven guilty, Lana. Are you daft? Are you fucked? Miss Guy, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright! I'll be with you the whole way! February 23rd, at 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 9. The court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Welcome back, Edgeworth. Edgeworth. I haven't been in court since Edgeworth's trial. It's been a while now. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. I'm gonna have to blow my nose here. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much... You're not Maya. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to a crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough up, Queen. Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. Ah, and for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? 'Tis too early for lunch. Your name and occupation, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me? The name's Angel Star. Don't go forgetting it. Hold on. Sorry. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Star was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Star was a detective? I know who you are. Cough up. Cough up Queen Angel Star, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Star. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. A block. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor's spaces. Yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block, in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with a knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Floor plans audited the court record. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Parking lot floor plans. Type map submitted as evidence during the trial. The parking lot was Edgeworth's car. Touch the check button for details. Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright. I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Star. Wait, are they talking about me? Somehow I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective instincts working. Then, through a wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bring a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. fuck? Hold on. Eh. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired? To me, prosecutors are nothing more than words. That said, I am pro. Boyfriend? You have several. Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick to the lunch, thanks. Note to self, the judge had to think before applying. The security guard room is in the lot. In A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So, she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective instincts working. You sensed something? So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder? It felt like... how would you say? Oh, yes. It was like that feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. What? I have no idea what that means. Speaking of a detective's instincts... wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodman, also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. Young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. I, of course, am hard-yellowed, sharp as a tack. I bet you stink, too. In any case, there, in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Then, through a wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. By garish car, you mean... Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. Mr. Edgeworth's? Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant? I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, then we're doomed. Let's just do what we can, even if we don't have any proof. We can always complain. Witness, in your testimony you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism. I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph! You took this! The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap. I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging around your neck. This is my first time seeing this photograph. You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant's crime photo added to the court record. Uh-oh, that is unmistakably Lana Skye. Crime photo, type of photograph submitted as evidence during the trial. The moment of the crime, as photographed by Angel Star, touch the check button for details. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 10 centimeters long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. No? I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean, a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. So, the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes, the next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flash. Okay. It's only a flash from this, right? We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and trust the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that! I can't present that. Wait. Okay, I'm gonna save. Yeah! And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Skye stab the victim with a knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But, isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took of the very moment of the crime, is it not? Oh, I've missed this song. I've missed this song so much. This is then why is Miss Skye not holding a knife? Ahem! Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. Let's be a little more careful with our evidence, shall we? It is you that needs to be more careful, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. How can you tell that? Blood spatter. It's supposed to be spatter, not splatter. It said splatter there, but it's spatter. I know this because of Dexter. Huh? See the dark crimson stain on the chief prosecutor's coat? It's a black and white photograph. Ah, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in the photograph. Well, those are gloves. Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. Okay. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves? Like driving gloves? The gloves are admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves, the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Ah! Impressive! I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She just got them thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. I've got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. Okay. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell lunch boxes for a living, you know? That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon, the red car, all belong to the prosecutor there. The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, the prosecutor said people. The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that right here? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Sky planned the murder. And that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. Oh. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget a weapon. Order. Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you won't delude yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah! The prosecution could care less if it was not. The one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. Okay, Edgeworth, you called the witness. This is your witness. If your witness is unreliable, which so far she has been, that means your case is unreliable. You dumbass. The defendant, Lana Sky, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now, but you know as well as I do that you planned on killing him. It was planned. If she wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of detection are not to be underestimated. Really now? Lana Sky intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So, if I order pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. It's good seeing Edgeworth there again. Lana Sky intended to murder Detective Goodman. You said that, but you haven't told us how you know. That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie. I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she's about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again. Rookie. Never interrupt a storyteller. It's like putting a bun out of the oven half-baked. Something's half-baked here, alright, and it's you. Try not to confuse the defense, witness. They're not very quick on their feet. Now, why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim? Her actions speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. You have no proof that Miss Sky called him there. You have no proof that she didn't. The onus is on you to prove it. You're the one making the accusation. You have to prove it. Mr. Edgeworth, thoughts? There is no record of a call made on the defendant, Miss Lana Sky's phone. She might have written him a letter. Come on, you could have tried public phone first at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office where he was murdered. I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Witness, why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day? I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. I like how she was told to testify about what she saw and not what she thought, and now she's testifying about what she thought now. What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't. That's because she didn't have a grudge. Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside? How am I supposed to know? See? No, we agree there's a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox. With pretzels, don't you agree? I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty. This judge isn't very good with metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking that? It's simple. No one else could have driven that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. A human machine? That's a contradiction! Please. Can't you find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright? Not self. Mr. Edgeworth's sighs smell like citrus fruit. You say again and again. How many times did she stab him exactly? We often say chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done? How come she's getting mad at me? Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that. Leave it at that? It's a murder case, people. Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know? Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, would it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Where is it? Objection! You say she stabbed him again and again. But you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? And then I'll test you. With my mass surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha! You're right! Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk! He's my hero, really? Hunk? Really, Emma? He's a hunk now. Bum bum. Ba-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness. You got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattering blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck, so she can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait! Isn't it odd that you mistook that for spattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance. Chance for what, I wonder? Okay. God damn it. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself. With this photograph. Huh? But that can't be. Only a true professional could be so clueless. I'm sure you'll make a good lunch, lady. Have no fear. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there. A scarf. No, not that, but something red. Really. Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude. Now back to business. What? Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind the partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. You are quite determined about the scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, cobras kind of stink. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Attorney Wright gets bitten by snake. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. So, where's this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing to do for a criminal. And what did you do then? I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details. I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, plus she was parked in B block. So, you witnessed the murder from... here. That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain-link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing! The cough-up queen, lunch lady, athlete, indeed! It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence. So she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. How come Miss Sky didn't get away? When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. I'm like really fucking tired. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word. So, what you heard wasn't a suspect talking to you, but to someone else. Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? You mean, this cell phone? Oh yeah, that's for me, okay. By phone, do you mean the cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately. My memory... It's like salmon. Heading upstream, you see? Hold on. Flocka, get out of there. Shit. Did not mean to do that. No, Flocka, no. No. Flocka. And you have... Shit. Get down. No, no. No. The phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? Christ. That's right. Near the car. An emergency phone on the wall. Apparently. Good testifying. You should, of course, add this to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. She gave up trying to use the phone on the wall just to use the cell phone. Do you think we could easily assist her with the report? During her call with Emma at the time, is futile. She made to escape. Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a... Grah. Huh? She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime. But it's strange. What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? The car entrance! That's right. Doesn't make any sense she would run from behind that partition to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So, Miss Sky tried to run. I'm sorry, my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. Okay. Okay, so I think I know what to do here. Just in case. I'm not save scumming to avoid damage, I'm save scumming to save time. 30%? Yeah, I do present that. I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Edgeworth, she's fucking biased as shit, dog. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Let's look at the 4 plans. You said you witnessed the crimes from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was in the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. Pursuit cornered! Bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, bum, 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 bum. What? What? Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about... She tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. It would be pointless for her to lie about it. Pointless to lie. I see. The witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. In other words, Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? No, that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Starr witnessed this crime was... here. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room. Indeed, the security guard room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the 2nd level, so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in the A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime in the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room. Yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men to think that the tables could be turned? Today a man has gotten the better of Angel Starr.
Order, order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime scene from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason.
So, tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright.
Huh? Me?
Who else?
Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference. But what? What would change? It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans, and it is quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime you were arrested, Miss Sky? Where you arrested Miss Sky?
Well, witness.
You. Yes? You ordered the squid reels, right?
The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible.
I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Boysenberry for the boyfriend.
He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Bum, 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 bum. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking in B block.
That's quite a detour.
Bum, 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 bum. Sorry. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime.
5 minutes? This changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork.
You have a point. And the spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something! Do I have any evidence to stop this? Here we go. 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You can make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, Ricky. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor?
Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone.
But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run, but this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable.
Yeah. Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. She has a grudge against the defendant, and there is a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go?
Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright! That was too close.
I'm afraid that the carve-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned.
Hold it. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer to not take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
What was that?
Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes?
My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr.
Is this your jumbo lunchbox?
Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other was the defendant, Miss Lana Skye's blood. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
What? There was blood found on that shoe.
Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed. Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You should know the 2 rules of evidence law, Miss Starr. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, the shoe is illegal evidence. At least for the time being. Ow, 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 ow. I bit my tongue. No, I bit my under lip. My lower lip. Why did I say under lip? I bit my lower lip. God, I'm really fucking tired. We're close to the end of this part, though, so I'll push on. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so, as your Fuhrer is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really.
The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. Well, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness.
Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Victim's shoe added to the court record.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
Decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. Victim's shoe. Type evidence. Submitted as evidence during trial. White enamel shoe. Bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Sky. The result. Let me actually look at the shoe. I forgot, I have to manually move it. Ah! There's blood here too! On the sole of the shoe? It's gotta be the victim's. She must have stepped in a puddle. He must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. Oh, this blood! It's horrible! This blood might be an important clue. God damn it. This blood, it's my sister's, right? It appears so. Nana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This is when the suspect is admitting she did it. This when the suspect is admitting she did it.
False testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with.
And now, so to the matter of the victim's shoe, did I not bring this up? And you found this shoe at the scene of the crime. I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So, like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really.
In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now, tell us what you did next.
2 types of blood were found in the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's. So, you brought it to the forensics department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective.
The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it.
Makes sense. After all, a man was stabbed here. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. And the other was the defendant, Miss Lana Sky's blood. You can't say for sure that the blood belonged to the victim with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, Rookie? Huh? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was performed in cold blood.
That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright.
Actually, if you combine all the various blood tests, there are millions of types. It's practically impossible to narrow down a blood sample down to one person. Or so I hear. Millions of types. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Skies.
So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe.
That ties directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole batch of soup. Mr. Wright, don't you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. What's wrong with the victim's shoe? We be ballin'. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, Ricky. I'll give you a peppered fish gut now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence.
I think it's the bottom. I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of the shoe. Don't mess with me, Ricky. It'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe.
Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe.
It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of his shoe? The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint. Not that the bottom of the victim's shoe was covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. If there were bloody prints, they would have been found. We checked the scene and found nothing of the sort.
Order, order, order! Well, witness!
What? Huh? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint.
Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint.
Think, Mr. Wright, think! Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? Hold it. I see. Now I get it. See, I don't know why they didn't retroactively add back his... So, the original trilogy, alright, when they were released in America to the DS, they were released at the same time. Like, they were all being developed at the same time in, like, the localization. So I'm not sure why they didn't give characters who have voices later in the series. I'm not sure why they didn't give them their voices. Because Mia didn't have it. Edgeworth only has his objection. It's weird. At the very least, in the re-releases of the trilogy, like on the 3DS and console and PC and whatnot, they should, put the voices in the older version, in the older games. I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint of the truth in her testimony.
What are you talking about?
Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman.
Rawr.
I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that? I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory.
Witness, well, was the oil drum empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it from Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason?
Ah! You don't mean?
Yes. The suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her.
That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs.
Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty. Erasing evidence. That reminds me. This guy's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So my sister's blood was on the shoe. That's what had happened?
Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial.
Mr. Wright, do something, please! What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. But... Enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor?
Very well.
But Angel Star is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water.
This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky.
Hold it. No, hold it. Shit. I thought it was someone else. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? You? Did you just say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister had evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence.
Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else.
You've reached your verdict, Your Honor. Any further comments will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cop-up queen. Look at this.
A photograph?
I had this just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim.
I see no room for error in this evidence.
Mr. Wright, wait! Look at the asphalt in this photo! Hey, it's clearly wet.
Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right. Wet or not? Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence.
Very well, this time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Your Honor, wait.
What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait?
No, it can't. Then it'll be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think later. Yes, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this.
I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem in this photograph.
See, I don't exactly know. It's either this or tissue. It's one of the two. The problem in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth.
Your Honor?
You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or spot of any kind in this photograph.
The muffler is also part on the car or motorcycle. Your Honor? Just think of it as part of the exhaust system. A pipe.
I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler?
So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with the case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much as in your testimony. What?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case.
Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what she had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Yeah. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh.
Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings.
Suspend?
I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once, and bring me that cloth. But the verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed.
I suppose so. Whew. That was close, but we made it. At least for now.
The court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all.
He's still hungry. To be continued, okay. And we will continue the trial, I guess. Tomorrow. Bye-bye. Well, not tomorrow. Next time. Bye-bye.